Hello, everyone, and we welcome you to round number 13 of America's premier off-road racing series, the 2006 Suzuki Grand National Cross Country Championship, to our Klotz Ironman GNCC in the AM ATV race, which incorporates our women, our super senior sportsmen, utility class riders, and sport class riders, as well as all of our novice class riders. As we look at some of the women's class riders, Crystal Reitman there, Quincy Heller out of Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. She's kind of a regular on the GNCC Racing Tour as we get set to go racing down here at the Ironman GNCC. Typically a cornfield, this year a soybean field. Mike Penland, one of the winningest riders in GNCC history, a utility quad rider there in the utility stock class, getting ready to go, as well as several other folks. Count them, nearly 400 riders in our morning ATV program here at the Ironman GNCC. We see Brock Parker there. Good to see him back in full force in full season. Clifton Beasley out of the utility modified class with us. And there's the number 3 Yoshimura Suzuki of Monster Energy rider William Yoakley. But that's not William Yoakley. That's Jeff Russell. Russell actually borrowing William Yoakley's quad there, and you can see he is going to try to race there off of row number 3, our sportsman's class. Row number 1, though, our women's class off and rolling and getting an extra $100 for the whole shot award there. Tracy Checo, and that coming from Amateurs Exposed magazine. You can check them out on the World Wide Web. It's ATV Riders Exposed, but good to see that Chuck DeVaught's got a great magazine there and throwing out an extra $100 to Tracy Checo for taking the whole shot here at the Ironman GNCC. As we head down to row number 2, our Super Senior 50-plus class. And we got a total of 17 riders in this one, including Alan Potter, John Gallagher, George Richards, Dennis Kurtz, Jim Clester, John Foster, David Coffing, James Coffing, Mike Ackerman, Dan Hamby, Warren Remick, Richard Martin, Tom Skinner, Wayne Remick, Tom Jinks, William Gunter, and Brad Gale. All row number 2, the Super Senior 50-plus class, as we head down to our 3rd row. And this is the one where we're going to see Jeff Russell racing in this one. Other riders in the sportsman's class include Scott Fleschauer, Wesley Fruits, Jared Graves, Corey Dunn, and Kane Smead. Good to have Kane out here. He's out of Quartz Hill, California, as a part of our 7 entries in our sportsman's class on row number 3. Now, these guys not really eligible to take any overall wins or anything like that, but they're out having a good time. Utility modified, row number 4, Clifton Beasley, Jason White, Jim Decatus, Brian Buchanan, David Reese, Brian Gunter, Chad Busha, Jeremy Dudding, Brian Nelson, and Big Bad Brock Parker out there. Good to see him back after being off a couple of years due to injury, but it looks like Parker and Beasley going to be battling it out for the early lead out there as we head down to the Utility Unlimited class on row number 5, including 5-time GNCC motorcycle champion Rodney Smith out there on board his King Quad. We got Kevin Johnson, Ty Blair, Dave Ecker, Robert Obrick, Ron Moore, Jonathan Bowers, Curtis Hall, Michael Shelley, Jesse Meekins, Jonathan Shelley, Hoyt Penland, Michael Wazisco, Danny Jesse, and Jerry DeVore there on row number 5. Row number 6 going to be your utility stock class. Rick Checo, Mike Penland, whom we've seen there before the race, Michael Swift, Ken Roby, Vern Hayes, David Jesse, Jack Ramsey, Justin Nutter, also Sam Williams, Jerry Hayes, Dwayne Badley, Chad Hill, Kevin Trantham, Andrew Langston, Robert Powell, and Woody Terrell, rounding out your field of 16 entries in that utility stock class there on row number 6. Heading down to row number 7 next is going to be our Sport 0 to 350 class, and we've seen a couple of these riders on the podium at the Powerline Park GNCC as far as the overall was concerned. Joey Bam Margaria out of Avella, Pennsylvania, and the number 303 of Travis Bell from New Brighton, Pennsylvania, both making the podium at the last race. Can they do it again today? Other riders including Benji Edwards, Dan McConaughey, Joseph Sherry, Caleb Jones, Scott Morrison, Mike Churton, and Ross Bright. Row number 8, a Novice C35-plus class. 50 riders in this one, including Michael Wormuth, Orville Llewellyn, Robert Turner, Mike Butler, John Saxon, Alan Root, Gary Whitaker, Darren Clements, Neil Burge, John Oliver, Daniel Mullins, Kenneth Wilfong, Chuck Dunn, Paul Surge, Randy Trinkle, John Lipinski, Chuck Blackwood, Lonnie Mayer, John Wright, Tommy Jinks, Aaron Delancey, Steve Halsey, Richard Yaslick, Raymond Bromley, Dave Opplinger, Dean Bradshaw, Jeff Stover, Richard Phillips, Kenneth Rodenberger, Jeff Foster, Ken Jones, Trevor Johnson, Tony Ping, and more there as the Novice C35 Plus off and rolling. Novice C stock class coming up next, and we've only got a total of 11 riders in this one, including TJ White, Sean Collins, Mike Hale, Mike Hudson, Evan Williams, Mike Mettendorf, Matt Jordan, Seth Haas, Jason Kinder, Mark Holden, and Josh Ross Keep an eye out for him in that Novice C stock class. 11 riders, row number 9. And row number 10 are Novice C 16 to 21-year-old. 56 in this one. Travis Mater, Derek Perkins, Kenny Sampson, Billy Boland, Roger Llewellyn, Thomas Bassett, Blake Overfeld, Caleb Nicholson, Justin Turner, I should say, Benjamin Williams, Brant Clements, Rex Pierce, David Burton, Parker Jones, Thomas Flegel, Curtis Schmitz, Brandon Moore, Craig Marshall, Dustin Souder, William Waite, and also Mike Kaufman, Drew Burgess, and more. Like we said, 56 riders on row number 10. That's our Novice C 16 to 21-year-old. Row number 11, Novice C 22-plus class. Total 64 in this one. And it gets a little rough heading into that first turn. Had to shorten it up a little bit due to an accident there in turn number 1. But that guy up and okay. Had to go to the hospital to get checked out, but I think he's going to be all right. Dan Llewellyn in the Novice C 22-plus class. Scott Williams, Brad Allman, Jason Cox, Paul Forney, Andy Bridgewater, and more. Row 13, first-year racer, 16 to 24-year-old riders coming up. We see the Novice C 22-plus class taking off there a moment ago as well. But we're all the way down the road, number 13 now, as these riders have all tackled those first few turns out here at the Klotz Ironman GNCC. As we go to our first-year racer, 25-plus class, road number 14, Greg Hanneman, John Farley, Scott Pike, Brian Mick, Michael Nunley, Kurt Van Mater, Bob Heikinger, also Ryan Thomas, John Loveland, Brandon Whistler, George White, and Chase Mills, row number 14. Now row number 15, Youth Production, second time out. First time out was at the Powerline Park GNCC. Can Walker Fowler make it 2 in a row here and the Youth Production class, and can he make 2 wins on the day as he raced the youth race earlier, going for 3 on the weekends? He's going to be racing the bikes on Sunday as well. We'll just have to wait and see as we check in with our leaders out near the 1 mile marker. And actually, I think this is out near the 3 mile marker, checkpoint number 1. And we can see Tracy Checo still holds on to the early lead out here at the Klotz Ironman GNCC. We'll keep an eye on the racing action. We'll be back at the end of lap number 1. We'll let you know how our classes are breaking down here at round 13, the season finale of the Suzuki Grand National Cross Country Championship Series. Coming up on the conclusion of lap number 1 here at the Klotz Ironman GNCC, again round 13 of the Suzuki Grand National Cross Country Championship and our series finale. And what a huge ATV turnout. Not only that, but a huge spectator turnout as the cars continue to file in here today. As we take a look at our lap 1 leader report, Tracy Checo leading the women's class. It's Super Senior 50-plus class leader John Gallagher. Scott Flashauer leading the sportsman's class. Utility Modified led by Brian Buchanan. Utility Unlimited, Michael Shelley. Utility Stock class led by Michael Swift. The Sport 0 to 350 class led by Bam, Joey Margaria. Novice E35-plus class Glenn Pritchard, who won the overall at the last race at the Powerline Park GNCC, the 47-year-old rider out there in the Novice E35-plus class. Also Novice C Stock class, Josh Ross leading there. Novice C 16 to 21-year-olds, Tyler Martin. Novice C 22-plus class, Mark Pittman. Novice C 29-plus class being led by James Barron. First-year racer 16 to 24-year-old led by Zachary Humphrey. First-year racer 25-plus class led by Will Wilkinson. And youth production class led by Zachary Strong. That's how they're shaping up at the end of 1 as we see them making their way through some of these mud holes here on lap number 2. We'll be back at the end of this lap once again to wrap up our class leaders to let you know how things are breaking down here at the Klotz Ironman GNCC. Coming up on the conclusion of lap number 2 now here at the Klotz Ironman GNCC. Round 13 again of the Suzuki Grand National Cross Country Championship Series. The way things are breaking down here, still no change out front for Tracy Tecco, though we're starting to see some adjustments in the overall times, and not real sure who's going to be in the running for the overall at the end of this one, but Glenn Pritchard, believe it or not, is one of those riders that's working his way up through the pack right now, as is Margaria, their top 10, and not only Margaria, but the other Sport 0 to 350 class rider of Travis Bell. But here's the way it looks after one lap. You saw there on the Suzuki leaderboard. We'll run them down for you real quick. Tracy Tecco, John Gongo leading the Super Senior 50-plus class, Sportsman's class Scott Splashauer, Utility Modified Clifton Beasley, Utility Unlimited Michael Shelley, Michael Swift holds on to the lead in the Utility Stock class, Sport 0 to 350 still Bam Margaria, Novice C 35-plus class Glenn Pritchard, Novice C Stock class Josh Ross, Novice C 16 to 21-year-old Justin Miller, Novice C 22-plus class Mark Pittman, Novice C 29-plus class James Barron, first-year racer 16 to 24-year-old Zach Humphrey, first-year racer 25-plus class leader is Will Wilkinson, and Walker Fowler may be on his way to winning his second race of the day as he's gotten around Zachary Strong to take over the lead in the youth production 13 to 15-year-old class in its second ever race here with the Ironman GNCC. And we're glad to have that new youth ATV race. Hopefully we'll see more of that in the upcoming 07 season. But again, out at the water crossings and mud crossings, and we'll check back in at the end of 3. Closing in on the end of lap number 3 here at our Klotz Ironman GNCC. That will be 3 of 5. And our class leader report, not a lot of changes taking place there, but there are a few. But in our women's class, as we look at the Suzuki leaderboard, no changes there. Tracy Checo still out front of that class. Super Senior 50-plus class, new leader Mike Ackerman has taken over the lead from John Gallagher. Sportsman's class leader still Scott Fleschauer. Brian Buchanan leading the Utility Modified. Utility Unlimited led by Jonathan Bowers. Michael Swift still in control of the Utility Stock class. Margari is still in control of the Sport 0 to 350 class. Novice C35 plus class still Glenn Pritchard, and inching his way closer to the front of the pack as far as overall time adjustment is concerned. Novice C Stock class, Josh Ross leading that division. Novice C 16 to 21-year-old led by Justin Miller. Mark Pittman holds on to the lead in the Novice C 22 plus class. James Barron, the Novice C 29 plus class leader. Zach Humphrey, the first-year racer, 16 to 24-year-old class leader. Will Wilkinson, first-year 25-plus class leader. And Zachary Strong has regained the lead back away from Walker Bauer in the Youth Productions class. Again, that 13 to 15-year-old division started off on road number 15. We'll be back at the end of lap number 4. Wrap up our class leaders one more time as we sit back and watch the action here in our Klotz Ironman GNCC. Lap number 4 now coming to a close as the white flag is out, and we're heading into our 5th and final lap of racing. Class leaders break down like this. No change for Checo. Ackerman still leading the Super Senior 50-plus class. Sportsman's class still led by Fleshauer. Brian Buchanan, the Utility Modified. Jesse Meekins, Utility Unlimited class leader now. We got a new leader in that one. Michael Swift holds on to the lead Utility Stock class. Margari is still Sport 0 to 350. Pritchard still Novice C35-plus class. Sean Collins leading the Novice C Stock class. Brian Parker leading the 16 to 21-year-old Novice class. Mark Pittman, still no change there for the 22-plus class. James Barrett continues to manhandle the boys in the 29-plus class. Steve Hartsock has moved into the lead in the first-year racer 16 to 24-year-olds. Will Wilkinson holds steady in the first-year racer 25-plus class. And new leader in the youth production class. No, it's not Walker Fowler. It's David Muchisco at the end of lap number 4, moving into the lead. And actually, at the end of that 4th lap, Muchisco will end up taking the win as the youth production class, only making 4 laps as opposed to our leaders 5 laps. So that's the way that class is going to break down. So Walker Fowler's hopes of winning 3 in a row for the weekend, not going to happen here at the Klotz Ironman GNCC. But we'll see how the rest of it all breaks down at the end of lap number 5, coming up here in just a few moments. Round 13, the Suzuki Grand National Cross Country Championship, the Ironman GNCC. Rodney Smith making his way in off of the race course, and the checkers are out, and not a lot of changes there on the last lap, although Rick Checo did move up to take the win in the Utility Modified class. Jonathan Bowers taking the win in the Utility Unlimited class, and Kenny Sampson moves in to take over the Novice C 16 to 21-year-old class lead. As we take a look at our top 10 overall, Glenn Pritchard from the Novice C 35-plus class does it. Takes 2 in a row overall. Scott Fleshauer, Sportsman's class, 2nd place. Tracy Checo, 3rd. Corey Dunn in 4th. And rounding out the top 5 was Angel Adwell. And once you take those Sportsman's class riders up, because they're not eligible for the overall, move those ladies up. Angel Adwell gets 3rd overall. Tracy Checo, 2nd overall, behind Glenn Pritchard, who takes the overall win in the 35-plus class. As you can see, Checo down there on the podium and the rest of the crew. And let's head on down to the podium and celebrate with our champions here at the Klotz Ironman GNCC.
Hold up that flag and be proud. 2 overall wins in a row. 47 years old, Glenn Pritchard. GNCCRacing.com. There's Harlan from ATV Riders. Ricky Soseby shooting for Offroad.com. Jared Kelly's out here again from ATV Sport. That's what we like to see. 737, Glenn Pritchard. Yeah. Now, see, 2 weeks ago we had
First place again. What is going on, Glenn Pritchard?
Oh, I just having a great day, having a lot of fun. Oh, it's wonderful out there today.
What have you learned? It's your first year racing the series. What have you learned to start winning these races?
Get in shape, stay on the foot pegs a lot, and just ride hard. I mean, it's just fell together for me.
You say riding on the foot pegs a lot. It's hard. People think you're just sitting down and letting the machine do the work. It doesn't go that way.
No, it doesn't. I mean, you got to get up on your foot pegs and ride hard, and the whoops. So if you're sitting on the seat, they'll send you over.
Now, you say getting in shape. Is that just from racing every weekend, or you do some other stuff between races?
I just work. build houses and do remodel work and stuff like that, and I just stay in shape that way. I don't work out or nothing, so.
Hey, can't argue with results. It works, right?
Right.
Hey, good job.
Thank you.
All right. Well, the women's class has stepped up, but no one has stepped up like Tracy Checo. This has got to be the best year out of all your championships. This has got to be the most satisfying.
Oh, yeah, this has been a great year from Florida to this race. It's just been a great season.
And the hard work, I mean, it's been unbelievable. I'm sure you can't even calculate how many hours of work you had to put in.
No, I couldn't calculate that at all. Because even if you're not riding, you're not training, you're on the phone with your sponsors, make sure you always have the best equipment. You're mentally training yourself. You're training your body. It just never ends.
Yeah, is it just racing on the brain 24 hours a day?
Yeah.
Now, Bill talked about the dedication and the hard work and the determination. How much did it help being able to work under the tutelage of a rider like Bill Balance with Yamaha?
I've learned a lot from Billy. I learned a lot from Johnny. I mean, they are both awesome riders, and they know a lot of knowledge. I think how our relationship worked so well is they actually took the time. I might not always describe what's going on with the bike and stuff, but they took the time to actually listen to me and think outside the box of me. I'm a kind of rider with my weight and stuff. You have to think outside the box, and they actually took the time, and I'm just so appreciative that they did.
The sponsors have to like that too. I mean, they can develop products for other women's racers because they are developing stuff now that works just for you.
Right, and for the youth riders that are upcoming, I mean, they need to be on different equipment. They can't run equipment that a 200-pound guy can run.
All right, excellent. So a bit of a pioneer, and you will be back next year to defend this title, right?
Yes, I will, with Yamaha behind me and Alba. I mean, it's just going to be a great season next year. I'm looking forward to it.
We are too. Good job.
Thank you.
Lots of gas on special.
The Grand National Cross Country Championship is sanctioned by the American Motorcyclist Association. Rights, riding, racing. AMA. Join now. Call 1-800-AMA-JOIN.